Hey guys, I'm back, and this is our 2024 Summer Sequential Slam. Sequential Summer Slam? SSS. However that works. This time we've got Wolverine and Deadpool, the big hit of the summer box office. Wow, lots of entries here, lots of cool stuff. So I'm going to start by saying what I always say. You're all winners. I'm sure your mom put up all your artwork on your fridge and is proud of you. And so are we. These contests that we hold in our groups and with our students and stuff like that for how to draw comics, they're always a win. And a lot of that win comes from the entering of the contest. Do you know what I mean? Like, I post up the contest. In this case, a bunch of guys, professionals from the group, help me with the script and everything, help me organize it. So they're awesome. And I'll tag them below and everything, right? But really, like, every time you guys enter, you're winning because you're learning. You're learning as you go through the process. You're learning as you're drawing, not just drawing, but like trying to adhere to a script, trying to adhere to a deadline, all this kind of stuff. So hands down, I'm going to say you're all champs. I kind of say that at the beginning of every critique video and stuff like that, because I want to put that out there. Because when I'm in the mix and giving feedback and stuff like that, sometimes it can seem a little negative. And I get that because I'm trying to hit on what I think you can improve the quickest, the priority and stuff like that, right? So don't mind if I don't proclaim that I love every entry. I do. I love that you entered and stuff like that. But I'm going to often, just for time constraints and stuff like that, focus on what I think needs to be focused on. So with that being said, I'm going to focus on something broad to start off with. Receiving your entries. A lot of entries came in and they were great. I got to, just take the file, drag it into my program and start working on it and stuff like that. But a lot of entries were not. So one thing that I said in the contest details was put Deadpool, Wolverine and stuff like that as your heading. If you didn't do that, it makes me searching through my emails a lot harder. So maybe would have missed your entry. Maybe if your entry's not in this mix, that might be the problem. Maybe. Another one is file types. I don't know what y'all are doing, but the weird ass files you're sending me, I have to search them. I have to look them up and say, what is this and why? Don't send PDFs and stuff like that. JPEGs, PNG, standard picture formatting and stuff like that. Like, just send standard image formats, okay? Makes it easier on everybody. And this goes to whenever you're submitting anything. Think of how you're going to make it easier on the person receiving them, right? So file names, if it's just random letters of file names, well, and especially if you're submitting like 2, 3, 4 files at a time, that makes it tough. I have to look through the entries and try to figure it out and stuff like that of which page order you've done, especially when you don't write on the pages. That makes it even tougher too, right? So the file name would be smart to like page 1, page 2, page 3, even your name, the contest, and then page 1. That's the way I would go about it. That's probably the smartest way, right? So naming your files so that they are clear. And watch the deadline. There was a couple that were not just over the deadline, but like over the deadline. Okay, so all of that aside, I'm happy to get going into this. And let's see, I'm going to pull up my screen and start to get into it. Yeah, in no particular order. Hey, listen, like, I haven't looked at these ahead of time. I actually try to avoid looking at them ahead of time. Even if they pop up on Facebook, I'll give a little like or something like that, but I don't really want to get into it until it's sitting in front of me and I can give a legit reaction to it. Okay. Alrighty, so now we have Andy Liu, which a lot of you that have been following these contests, you'll recognize him. He's got a lot of entries and always stepping up his game each time, right? So let's see what I've got here. I've got an opening panel. Nice setting. Yeah, I like the lighting. I like everything. I don't know if it's just the version I got, but it's reading a little pixelated to me. And so, sometimes when files get sent out, by the time I've brought it into my system and stuff like that, there might have been something, but this would be something that I would keep an eye on if it's going out to editors and stuff like that, right? So just watch the quality here. And I don't know if you could see it on the screen or not, but like there's a lot of pixelization happening here, right? Like, yeah, I'm not a huge worry, but like that would be one thing I would question. Anything about the first panel? No, I like the setup. I like the crash and Deadpool coming in. I maybe would have put some windows off to the side here. I could have even had this like these walls, for example, like maybe a wall break here, and like have, as if this is the angle and then some windows or something. I don't know, depending on how closed off of the room I want to be, but to show a window, not a big thing. Love the Professor Xavier hint. I love Deadpool shooting in. I love how he's just like on his side, being all cool, sliding in. Very good work. Nice baton to the face. Good impact. It really shows that he's given her a good. See, I can't even read this lettering. Yeah, this is interesting. I can't read this. So really curious, Andy, if on the versions you have saved, what it looks like. What I can see on this lettering, though, is way too close to the edges there, man. Okay. Next one, nice little face off. And I even like this. Logan not really reacting. He's just chilling. He's like, all right, let's get it on. Here's the face off. Well done. A little bit of too much blank space back here. I wonder if it would have been better, a little bit more cropped in here. But good posing and stuff like that. So I'm quite happy. We come up here. Oh, we've got a little montage dance scene where I like the blood spatters. I like the movement of things. It's the splatters give me a lot of movement, right? They add movement into a pose that would be good, but this gives me great, right? Like, and this is perfectly Deadpool, right? And it's cute, but it's also, again, we've got movement happening here. I don't know where this blood came from, though. Not sure, but meh. There's blood everywhere. At this point, I'm no longer questioning. Where's the blood from, right? And he's like, got his fingers gone, and he's ready to roll. Shadow in the back, X-23. Again, watch the lettering here. We've got all this space up here, and then it's too crunched down there. So even with the pixelization of the lettering, not loving how you just format it and stuff. I like the fake Spidey sense, a lot of humor in this. Good to throw that in. Wapow. Off goes ahead. And he's still cracking jokes. And actually, this is a really well-drawn head. Yeah, overall, I think this is a really good set of 2 pages. A little bit of the blank space is, I like that you did the background with the tones and hues of what would be in that room. So it does create the vibe that it's still happening in the same place. It can feel a little empty at times. So just be careful with that. We've got one panel that basically gives a lot of set, well, not a lot, but gives set dressing, right? Maybe this panel gives a bit. Maybe this one a little bit, but we're lacking a lot throughout these pages and stuff like that. And doing up the backgrounds, doing up the sets, not always necessary. And we've seen different entries that have accomplished it better than others. I just think that with like for example, you're lacking any setting here in this one, I might have thrown it in somewhere else. Like you just can't keep producing figures, no matter how well drawn they are, again and again and again, without some backgrounds, without placing them somewhere. It becomes just too much of a kind of a pinup vibe and stuff like that, right? You gotta place them in the scene, and you did in panel one, and then it starts to really disappear. And it's not the worst thing. Like I get it as a creative choice sometimes, but watch how often you do it. Okay, that's just my slight words of wisdom. I don't know. Okay, guys, next up we've got Nicolas Klein. Let's take a quick look at what Nicolas has got going on here. First page. Oh, there's color, so that's kind of awesome. Big fan of color, right? We got the scene, setting the scene. This is an interesting, this I-beam pretty much in the middle of the room here. I could tell Nicolas spent a lot of time trying to put in a lot of set dressing here, but it's not enough. And we could see that when comparing to other entries. It's kind of that middle ground. There's some entries that have no set dressing, right? And there's some entries that are like, pow, it's the most beautiful background ever. This is kind of a middle ground, and I get it because sometimes I go this way and stuff like that, but it looks a little sparse, and the figures are not quite totally sitting in it correctly. There's a little bit of sizing issues, and this, like I said, this random I-beam here almost feels like a separate panel or something like that. It's just kind of sitting there, right? Let's move on from panels from 1 to 2. Kind of these might be considered 2, 3, 4, depending on how we want it in the shattered glass. I like this effect. This is pretty cool. I kind of wish the glass was a little bit angled, but like this one seems a little bit slightly straight on here, right? Like I just wish it was like we could see the depth to the glass a little bit, and show it that it's angled. I could see a little bit of it, I guess, but for how close this piece, like this is a huge piece, right? I'm kind of guessing it's a little bit close to the viewer and stuff. Even this one, I would have like maybe put a bit more depth on it or something like that, right? Just to show that it's that close to the viewer, right? Anyways, I like the break-in of Deadpool. We come to P3, knocks her out. P4, the stand. P4 and 5 are the standoff. Looks good. And I like the standoff. I think it works pretty well. Moving on to page number 2, Wolverine in the classic pose that Wolverine does. He's the best at it. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah. Again, like some of the set dressing is there, but not fully. And I get that because he's trying to choose his time, right? He's putting more time into the figures, and the figures look great. I think this is one of his strongest entries. Looks good. The claws a little bit close to the face, but that's okay. Like I kind of wish there was something more happening here. There's a lot of dead space in this, right? Now this is where he tightens up. Boosh. I like these 2 panels. These are nice and tight. This one's a little flat. It doesn't have the impact because like he's just getting stabbed. He's like, I am stabbed, right? Like it's lacking the impact that this has impact. This is it's got foreshortening, it's got blood, it's got good cropping. Like maybe if we would have cropped this a little bit better and put some, I don't know, I don't know, but like I said, I would have maybe designed some of this a little bit better, just to crop it tighter in on the action. Because when he does, Nicolas, when you do this tight cropping on the action, looks awesome. This is okay. Classic superhero lunge minus a couple fingers and stuff like that. This one's a little weaker. Maybe it's the head that's straight on. I think I would have rather had it down just a little bit, right? But other than that, it's fine and stuff like that. Like just have that angle, right? Like here, it's too much this with his body up. I would have tilted that head down a little bit, right? They're both coming at each other, but then there's a big oof, the big kick, and that doesn't really show how that happens with 2 guys charging at each other. Could have been a slightly better transition there. DP's about to finish him off. Not really, but whatever. He's bragging, and then he gets the side blade to the head. Nice finish. Yeah, I think that works pretty well. These are nice workable pages. Like the only thing that I might not love is, like I said, some of the dead areas in some of it, right? Like this is good because, like, even though it's dead, it's giving space to the dialogue and stuff like that, but there's a lot of space. So in a way, this could be done and said, well, this is very calming, right? But that's not the vibe I'm getting on this for some reason. I don't know. If we wanted that calm, serene setting, I think it would have laid it out in a 1-point perspective, kind of just this, I don't know. I'm thinking something different. I'm thinking a 1-point perspective, not a silhouette, but almost. Do you know what I mean? And they're just like peacefully zen, drinking their morning tea and stuff, something like that. Right? Just a thought. Okay. All right. Who do we got next? We've got Austin. Yeah, Austin is pretty badass here. Let's take a look. A lot of pencils here, right? So who is this? Austin Montoya. Okay, so we've got some good pencils to start. Setting the scene. They're chatting in a room. Can't really tell which room, but it's a room, right? Silhouettes here. Boom, he comes through. I think I would have maybe preferred more of an impact, but meh. I do like, for mid background type of somewhat, right? Like it's good that way. I like the baton knock. And I like this face off. This is a nice little face off here. Good stuff. Good rendering. Pretty heavily rendered on the characters and stuff like that. I don't know if it works all the time, but I dig it. A little shout out to the Wolverine Hulk cover, right? The reflection. I like that. Okay, Wolverine goes after Deadpool. I like the effects. I like this tight crop here. The head shape compared to the hand, to the sizing, I don't know if I'm fully in love with this. It just maybe the way this is cropped or something. I might have cropped it in there, something like that. It made his head look really a bit too big, and that's coming from a guy with a big head, right? We keep going down. Ooh, I like this through the armpit camera. I always appreciate that. Yeah, and it looks pretty cool. It's a nice swipe with the blade. Wolverine comes. That's a nice punch through. Oh, and then we get the opposite of this one. I like that tie-in. That's pretty cool. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, we come over here. Page number 3. Logan's got him pinned. Deadpool's got him pinned. They're kind of like back and forth on this. It looks good. For some reason, I'm liking this panel more, but I think it could have been more of an upshot camera maybe, or something like that, like looking up at it. A little bit of, I would have liked to see some camera movement variety a little bit more, like angle variety and stuff like that. Good kick. Looks okay. I don't know if this is the best angle to show what's happening here, because you got to figure Wolverine's being bent here and stuff, but I can barely see that bend in here. And that's not for lack of trying in the artwork, but like even the foot loses itself. It's just, this looks awesome, but we lose the impact of the kick a little bit here, right? Wolverine's up against the wall. Deadpool comes in and he's about to lay this back down. Oh, hold on. There's another page. 4 pages. He extended. All right. Let's break some rules. This is Wolverine up against the wall. Psylocke comes in. Psylocke. I'm tired. She's smiling, and oh, no, it's not. Hold on. It's X-23. What the hell? I wasn't paying attention. No wonder I'm so confused. She's smiling. Whop. And lop. Up comes the head, and toom, toom, toom. This is maybe my favorite panel in the whole thing. Was it always X-23? Yes, it was. Jeez. I think I need to take a break from these. This is how tired I'm getting. Forgive me, Nicholas. Or no, this is Austin. Forgive me, Austin. Anyways, a lot of good drawn pages, very well drawn pages, rather. I like a lot of the choices that are going on here. The heavily rendered thing is, I don't know if it would work when it goes to print and color and all that kind of stuff, but it works in this submission. You chose 4 pages. Did you need 4 pages to do this? Like, I think it's fun, and definitely like the last panel of the last page, I really appreciated. I don't know if you needed 4 pages for this though, man. Like, but it looks like you're having fun. So I was having fun reading it. All good. Vic DJ. All right, we could see some are finished pages, some are not so finished pages here, right? Back up just a little bit. Really nice setup. Okay, so we've got the establishing shot of the mansion. Then we move into them chilling in the house, whatever this is, right? Yeah, sorry, in the living room. Set the beers, everything. It's all good. Deadpool busts through. I might have put some, maybe on her. Maybe he wasn't surprised. I don't know. I just want to see a little bit more shock. Less awe, more shock. Looking good so far, though, and a good knockout. A lot of people have been dropping the ball on this knockout. This was a good knockout. Maybe could have had a couple impact lines or something like that, but other than that, like really good face off. I like this. Less finished, but this is a great dance. You know, I get camera angles moving everywhere from up top to way down Worm's Eye and stuff like that, from the side, right? Again, up top, like he's switching this camera around without me losing focus or anything. Like I'm loving it. It's just, I'm like, wow, hey, hoo, ha, hoo. And I'm moving all around because that's kind of the vibe of the fight scene, right? Like he's like, hoo, hoo, hoo. And that's the viewer is bouncing around too. And it's kind of masterful, actually. I really appreciate that. Okay, we get into more fight scene. Jeez, okay, so we got like a couple pages. And you know what? I kind of said to people that were entering, I was like, meh, you don't have to fully stick to the script because Deadpool wouldn't stick to the script. I could tell. I could tell he was having fun with this. Yeah, Vic DJ. I appreciate the fun in the fight scenes. I actually wouldn't change much. Like I'm looking at the anatomy, love the anatomy, love everything going on with it. The panels flow, and when they don't, they force themselves to. Do you know what I mean? Literally, like a nice leading prop into this one. And what is it? It's actually the blade that goes into him. Gets a snarky feedback. Look at this camera angle again. You know, like from a little bit down low. Cool beans. And then we come into the last page. Not quite finished. That's okay. I could see what's going on here. And actually, this camera angle's pretty tight. I really like this panel, you know. And he's saying a team, right? I'm Wolverine. Okay. Overall, really strong entry, actually. This is pretty good. I would love to see this finish. This would be, depending on how it works out with the, say, for inks and colors and stuff like that, this is definitely printable. Like, strong entry. Okay, next up is Cooper Richardson. Seen some of his work before. We could tell that, like, with this scan, it's a little light, right? It's a little light, just how the scan came through. Let's see if I can help Cooper out here a little bit. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. That would be why. I'm going to see if I can help Cooper a little bit. And don't want to turn down this, turn up this just a hair. Okay, just a little bit of an adjustment there. I could have went in and adjusted levels, but this will work. Okay, let's look at the first panel for Cooper here. Sets the scene. I don't think this is the strongest panel so far. I can barely make out Wolverine, and I can really not make out who's sitting in this chair. I think what I would rather have seen here is either a tighter cropping and just added more. Like I could see he's already adding set dressing and stuff like that. I would added more and then have this, but this size, right? Like really give some details in this opening panel. Number 2 looks good. Deadpool comes crashing through. Maybe, yeah, instead of having them, like I like some of these shards, they should be a little bit sharp, right? Whatever. Sharp angles when glass breaks for the most part, right? Watch out for some of these rounded edges. It looks a little bit like rubble, but I like the reaction here. We've actually kind of got, this is P1, this is P2. In a way, this is P3 and this is P4. I like the doink. Nice hit, but this is unfinished. Even if I'm going with this as a separate panel, this next panel is quite lacking because these have got to be 2 different things because we've got 2 different batons here, right? Okay, good stuff. I like this face off. Obviously, this is a nice cover homage. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. Watch the hands a little bit, Coop. Work on the hands a little bit, but the figure work is really good here. I'm enjoying the figure work. And of course, this is good, but hey, you know what? Go on in and finish this. Like, is he in a suit? What's happening here? Like, give here, this is Peck coming in here, draw through a little bit and then like whatever fits in the panel. Okay, let's go up to page number 2. Wolverine's coming at him here. This is a bit of a missed opportunity because what you're showing a lot of foreshortening here. But what could have happened here was like these blades could have really like, well, I guess I could have really punched and made this, and like, I don't know, I might have brought him back here more with this, have the swords on the back or something like that. It like really punched him forward a little bit or towards the viewer. I would have just punched this panel just a little bit more. Okay, like the speed lines or the effect lines and stuff like that. This is good. Again, a little bit more emphasis. I think you're going with the pig stickers and stuff like that of the design, but still, I would have punched those a little bit more. And see, even me just drawing it like that just punches them just that little bit more, right? Okay. There's different ways that people choose to draw Wolverine's claws. Some they're hooked, kind of like sword blades. They're like little pig stickers and stuff like that. Like not little, but I mean like just straight out, right? To each your own. It's a stylistic choice, but don't let that hold you back from showing how cool they are. Because no matter what form they take, Wolverine's a fucking badass. Okay, this pose, I don't like these poses I'm digging. This pose is just a squat. I would not have chose this pose. Out of all of Wolverine's pose, you could have put this one down, his knee down here, back, right? Like there's a lot of different variations you could have done here. Him leaning over. All right, like, and I get that you were like, whatever. It could have been like a hunched over pose or something, like a battle ready. Oh no, I see what you're doing here. Sorry. I'm drawing over it and I'm not really thinking what this panel is for. He's knocked out. But what threw me was, and why I didn't catch it, was his legs. They don't look knocked out. They should have been like splayed, something like this or whatever. Like the way that I thought he was sitting like on his feet here. I see what you're doing. He's sitting up against the wall and stuff like that, right? But I think the pose, his lower body pose, would have had to reflect like him getting knocked the fuck out. Not knocked out, but like kind of there, right? And Deadpool comes in and does his little rant. Okay, you need another page maybe to finish this off because, oh no. Hold on. Okay, so Deadpool's talking here. I didn't think. Deadpool's talking, and then we've got this skip of action from here to here, and he's back standing. we're missing what happened between these two. Here's his little villain monologue or whatever, right? Then X-23 would come, decapitate, and then Wolverine's up against the wall. Deadpool's here, and X-23 comes from behind. She decapitates, and now somehow both of these guys appear behind Deadpool with his head falling. The storytelling process has to be worked out a little bit better there. I do really appreciate this final panel with the headshot, though. Yeah, really good stuff. Okay, next one is Gledson. So what do we got here? We got some inks. We'll go on the first page here. Yeah, interesting break. I think this is interesting. Breaking through the panel here and stuff like that. And the panel break is the person coming into the room is Deadpool breaking through. But it almost looks teleported, and I don't know if it should have been like shards of glass coming through a little bit more or something like that would have punched that panel break a little bit, right? Like, I like the concept, but currently I don't think it's working tons. It does work as a nice panel flow, though. Here, what I might have done was put her hand here, and so that would have angled my view down to here. Either way, looks really good. Again, kind of these straight on shots and stuff, and I get it. Like you're setting the scene and stuff like that. So let's see if we get some more variety going on here. Oh, here we go. Look, we're looking down at people. I like that. I like that variety, and it's a good shot. Like, it's well drawn. Actually, in fact, like, as I kind of look around, this might be my favorite panel. Like, it's very well drawn. I think there could have been more set dressing. This is a pretty sketched up looking kitchen. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything looks so there. And actually, as I'm looking through the backgrounds and all of this, they all look like they were, don't mind the sniffles, constructed in SketchUp and stuff. So yeah, I think there could have been more done with the backgrounds here, but like, I'm loving the figure work. I like the inks. I like some of this action. I like the difference in camera views and scope and everything like that. Let's see, as we come through here, I like how this points over here, points here, kind of pointing down this way. Great face. I would almost say, curious if this was referenced. It's probably the best face here, anywhere. Yeah, it's really, really, really well done. So well done that I almost feel like it came from somewhere. So, Gledson, call me out if you think, nope, I drew that from scratch, or be like, yeah, you know what, I actually kind of used a bit of a reference on it, and that's all good. Either way, it's a really good panel. These two panels are really, really strong here. I think you did a good overall job. Like I said, maybe, I don't know if everybody agrees with me on this P2 here, the panel break and stuff, right? Okay, next up is Michael Patterson. And dude gives us a cover and a double page spread. So tackling a lot here. This is a very stylized look in a lot of ways, and I don't know if it stays consistent through as I'm looking. Like, I look at this anatomy that I'm looking at here and this anatomy. So it almost feels like there's a cover artist and an interior artist, but not with the rendering, right? Like, just the anatomy is so different. And the thing about Wolverine is he's 5'3", 200 something. Like, he's a short, stocky, ugly dude in the comics. He's not Hugh Jackman, right? Like, that's a different dude. So, but I would kind of accept either of those models. This one, I'm not really sure what's going on here. Like, here's one head, 2, 3, 4. Okay. He just seems really stretched out, and I'm going to give that to style. And I love all the background and bits and stuff like that. Like, I'm enjoying this. I don't know if I'm enjoying the style as much, but like, fuck it, I don't have to enjoy every style. Every style is not meant for me, right? I do appreciate it though. So there's that. But I also appreciate when style holds true throughout. And so I don't know if it's going to. I like this panel. I don't know if this is working right now. This is a little bland for crashing through, and it doesn't even look like he's crashing through. It looks like he's on the other side of something that crashed behind him or something. Like it's these bits and bytes should be more ahead of him as he's coming through that window. Instead, it just makes me feel like everything's behind. Cool side profile, yet this one looks bland. Do you know what I mean? Like we've got this, and he's getting ready, and then he's just sitting in his chair. I get it to snicked, and maybe that could have added emphasis there, right? Because I'm not really seeing. Do I see any dialogue? No. So maybe that would be what would happen here, and I get it because I like the timing of that. He's growling. He's like, and all of a sudden, Snoop, Snick. That's a better sound. Snoop. He can fucking Snoop Dogg up in here. Okay, so let's see what happens. This is actually a double page spread, which is cool. But I don't know if it was needed. Like, there's so much wickedness in some of these panels. I'm like, holy. Like, I feel like this dude should be drawing Dracula or something, like this is some cool stuff, but this is not as cool. This, for the money shot, for the action shot, I feel the anatomy is a little hinky here. He's trying to push foreshortening, but it's not really working as well. This is kind of a little bit of a weak move by Deadpool. Do you know what I mean? Like, when I look at this, and I keep checking around it, I think this artist is off the hook. Like, this artist is banging, right? And when I look at this, I'm left wanting more, right? So, who is this again? Michael. Man, lots of potential here. Lots of really good things going on. Like, a good third of this I'm absolutely in love with. There's other parts that I think could use some punch, right? Okay. Next entry is from Kal Bolas. Let's see what he's got going on here. Okay, we got some color. Color's tough. They're sitting on the sofa, chilling. There's some anatomy issues going on, but I'm gonna leave some of it for style and see if it holds consistent and stuff like that. But even like proportionately, the size of the heads are not comparing well. Yeah, there's some things going on, and I realize that this is X23 instead, right? But let's just see. Let's just see how it goes. Okay, so we've got, what do we've got? We've got chill, smash through into here, nice leading of the panel down into here. Cool little face off, but the fact that they're looking in opposite directions, I don't know if I'm necessarily in love with. It doesn't absolutely feel like a face off. It's like a dance off that they're starting in opposites and then they'll come together. Maybe, I don't know. I like that you added lettering. I think watch out for spacing, consistency and spacing on bubbles and lettering. Yeah, that's something you could start to work on as you letter more. But I'm happy you added it in. Good stuff. We got a little fight scene here. I'm liking the poses. I think, though, they are a little static in your camera angle. Like, imagine if the camera was here viewing this scene from like the claws or something like that. Like, there's a lot of potential here, but I think you could have really made it a lot more dynamic. It's slightly static as it is. It's slightly stiff and still, slightly. Even though I know you're pushing and trying, it still reads as pretty straight. If we look at the torsos here, we've got a lot of straightness going on. So you want to have understand line of action. I think I don't know if you've taken any of my courses or whatever, but I've got a course on action in comics, dynamic action and stuff. And so I would work on your line of action here. Okay. Yeah, again with the sizing and stuff like that, but I'll leave that as style. And I like the end. I think there could have been a little bit more blood. And even this, like, punch his eyes a little bit more, like, I was just stabbed through my brain, right? Yeah, I think looking for, you're already trying. Sorry, what's the name again? Kal. Kal, you're already trying here. Like, you're already like 5 steps into it. You need to take a couple more steps to really push that dynamic action look and stuff. Okay, good stuff. Okay, who's next? Michael McDonnell. Ooh, inks too. Yeah, okay. Okay, what do we got here? We've got varied camera angles. I'm kind of liking this, and depth as well, right? So we've got a downward view. A little bit, I don't know, at the size of this table. Like, this table looks gargantuan compared to these guys. I would have maybe tried to reference this a little bit. Like, I don't know if you got Legos at home or something, or toys, or try to reference size and position in that angle. It is a tough angle, and I think you actually drew the figures quite well here. So I'm happy. I actually think the figures here are better drawn than what comes later. This particular figure looks like he could use some work. This figure looks like you're more on track, and this figure looks fantastic. So, and actually she does too. Consistency in figure work here, I think, we've got good, we've got good, we've got great, we've got not so good. Nice face though. Okay, so consistency, and that's tough for everybody, right? Consistency is very tough. I like the action lines and stuff like that. I think those are pretty cool. I like this face. I like the panel work. A little bland here, but this would leave space for dialogue or something like that, or different things, or right? Like, there's a lot of room for movement here. I actually like how these pages are laid out in general. I think I would rework the set here. I would rework the anatomy here. But that's about the only changes I make. Like, this is, if I remember, you've entered before, and this is one of your stronger entries. So good stuff. Michael Berry. Okay, we've got some inks. And see, I like how this is labeled up here. This helps me a little bit and stuff, right? Okay. Interesting. This is tough because we've got. Here's a pen. Oh, this got really small. Nope. Here's a panel. That'd be why. Here's a panel. Here's a panel. Here's a panel. Here's a panel. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The division between 1 and 2 isn't super clear. It almost looks like Deadpool. This tangent here is confusing it. I like how we're looking in through the window at the X-Mansion. I think that's a great idea. But because looks like he's hiding under the window, like with this tangent here, it confuses whether he's breaking through it or not. I would have also put some of this debris over top of him to make it a little bit more clear that he's busting through something and it is projecting in front of him. He throws the baton, nails her in the face. A little bit of work on the faces here, but overall, I like the posture here. Wolverine. This is a interesting facial hair choice for Wolverine. I don't know if I've seen him with this look, so I'd be curious if anybody out there, if this is something I've missed with Wolverine, with full-on mustache into the handlebars, into the beard and stuff, right? Okay, next one. Okay, this gets kind of confusing. I believe these are possibly Deadpool's feet being chopped off, and Wolverine's, they're hacking at each other, right? But it doesn't really show where his feet get chopped or anything. And this makes it look like it's underwater. This effect makes it look like it's underwater. I get it. It's a bit of a space filler, but I don't think it's adding to it. I do like this sequence. I actually really like this sequence. This is kind of cool. I think that's kind of cool. Wait, he's got feet again? I swear these look like his feet. Yeah, I'm confused. Like Deadpool, his healing factor and stuff like that is fast and furious, right? But like, that seems wrong. And so is his head. This disproportionate head there. But yeah, the storytelling, so far as I'm concerned, this panel is killer. The rest of it, watch out for the tangent. Watch out for a couple things here. Okay, Michael? Okay, next up is Nate. And we've got another color entry here. I like the colors. I like the things, but the style a little bit, but it's starting to get a little bit bizarre looking and warped. Be careful of that. Like, I understand you're trying to force a perspective on that. I think it's not working in this particular panel, and even the storytelling is lost itself, because I understand he's coming through a window, but then we don't see the shattering. We see it here, but it doesn't look like he's coming through a window. It could be a sploosh. It could be anything. You're covering his face with his hand, right? Like there's a lot of confusion of how these panels are laid out. I would redo them. I think these ones are fine and challenging. You know, you want to dance? Let's do this. The 6-panel brawl, cool, pretty traditional. I actually like it. I like how you've got it laid out. Nice panel here. There's some nice fight scenes here and stuff like that. I like this. I like what you've done here and stuff, right? So it's all good. This face-off panel is fine, and this goosh, the psychic blade and stuff like that, is working really well. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, I would rework P2 and 3, and I think that would really bump this entry a lot. I think P2 and 3, if that was reworked, could really make this into a much stronger piece. Good stuff, man. Okay. Next up is Guild Morrisette. What can I say here? It is a unfinished entry. I could see lots of potential in it. So we look at the sofa setup. There's actually 3 people here. Huh. Wonder who they are. Okay. That's a massive sofa. Like, that's an orgy sofa. That thing's huge. But it's got no depth to the arms. Yeah. And like, again, we've got this like set dressing that's kind of lacking and stuff, right? Love the faces. Love the anatomy and choice. Cool little side scroll look. Cool posture. Like I'm digging all the anatomy and the actual drawings, and we get to see Canada's ass. Nice. It's going to get rougher though. Like, trying to see what's going on here. I like how these panels are laid out. Here, hoo, hoo. Huh? Tell me if I'm right. When we start to get these kind of overlapping random deck of cards, panel formations and stuff like that, it can get a little confusing for the viewer. So make sure you have things that really point us in the direction we should be viewing this and stuff like that. And I feel like you've already got it there, but just make sure in the final one it's really there. And then we've got the final scene. Oh, we've got Psylocke and X-23. That's who's brawling. Watch the neck here. I think there's a bit of a problem there. No problem with this neck. That's good. But for the big scene, and for how much I've seen of your figure drawing skills, This is a little weak right now. Now I'd love to see it finished, and I have a feeling I'd be impressed no matter what, because I'm a fan of a lot of your stuff here, right? This is Guild Morrisette. Okay, I'll remember that name. Like, there's a lot of things I like here, and a lot of things I want to see more of, but there's not enough here to be like, wow, right? So it's coming. Okay, so next up is Dason Pettit, mon petit. All right, Dason Pettit. Hello. We are going to look at the wonderful artwork in front of us. Let's see what we got. Heavy inks, so sometimes that can be not heavy, but like slightly heavy and slightly rough. So that can be a little hard to parse details out of and stuff, right? I like this, but where's he breaking through? Him breaking through and already being on the counter. There's some things that feel a little awkward about this or whatever, just for sizing and stuff, right? I understand why, but it doesn't really feel like the window is so far back and stuff like that. It's like this almost feels like a teleport, a page break of just like, bam, I'm right here, motherfuckers. Which sounds like Deadpool, but I don't think it really works in this. Knocks her out. Not the greatest anatomy work here and stuff like that, or like face work and stuff like that. A little bit of some straight on shots here, and that's okay. Let's see if it gets varied up. Yeah, I'm just okay with it so far, but the lettering is not bad. I would watch out for like a little bit of spacing on here and stuff like that, but there's a lot of watch even on your spacing and stuff, right? But overall, like even this, if this lettering group was just moved this way a hair, it would make it much tighter. Okay, nice fight scene. I like it. Let's see, nice swoosh coming through cut. I kind of wouldn't mind seeing some blood spatter in here. Not like we've got blades here, you know, like let's see a little bit of splatter, right? I see impact, but I was like, I think a little bit of splatter would go a long way here, right? Okay, he punches Wolverine. Wolverine's down, but he cuts off his fingies. Okay, his head looks disproportionate. I feel like it was squished into this panel or something, right? So watch out for that. Deadpool falls back, but now leaps. A little bit of a disconnect there. I like this panel. I like this panel. Like this is a nicely drawn of see the inconsistencies between the heads and stuff. This is a nicely drawn Deadpool head here. This is not a nicely. Number one thing I guess when I'm looking at this entry is consistency in proportions, in figure and in head sizes and stuff like that, right? Like there's a lot of inconsistencies going on with that alone, and that's where I would tackle first, is just being really consistent in your ratios throughout all the different pages, okay, and panels. Mostafa. All right, Mostafa. Let's see what you got. Ooh, this is a cool style. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, sitting here chilling. This is chilling. You know, bare feet. That table, I don't know, it doesn't look the most stable, but like not bad, you know, and that's not the best foreshadowing of a figure coming or something like that, but it's cute. I think this scene itself is cute. This is also cute with Deadpool. I would have, like, I love that he's stiff and he's like, hi. It reminds me of a friend of mine. It's a little bit almost, I could have, what would I have done here? I like how it's stiff, but it almost feels like too blocky here. I might have put him a little bit further in and just given a little bit more details to the body or something like that, right? This is cool. Love the upside down look. Love the facial expressions here. This is how you sell a story. Face is was it always this chubby? Face seems to get a little swollen, like he got stung by bees here or something like that. Like the face puffs up a little bit, right? It takes away from the impact of it. I like that you were trying your own hand lettering. Interesting Wolverine look, but you know what? On model as far as I'm concerned because he's gruff and ugly. So I'm good with that. A little bit of ooh, I like the lettering behind, the impact lettering and stuff like that. Ouchie. And Deadpool's funny, right? This scene is wasting a lot of space, though, this panel. I like the I love. See, there's a lot of attention to detail here that I'm really loving. Not only just the impact lettering, but the body hair and stuff, hair on his feet. Like, fuck, that's banging. You know what I mean? And like, are these even like happy faces? Let me see. I don't know if they are, but they look like happy faces to me on his knuckles, right? Like, there's a lot going on this page. This page is really, you can see it's like making me smile and stuff. Even though there's a lot of work to be done on it, I think there's a lot of good going on here. So there's a nice threat, but again, a lot of empty space. I might have tightened this up a little bit, had the dialogue button bubble here or something, you know, and then it could have been a tighter panel, maybe. I like this, sure. I like this. This is kind of, one, her stance is cool. His gobbledygooked hands are also very cool. Would I have wanted to see the impact? I don't know. I think it's doing a pretty good job here. Listen, like the storytelling is sold by these faces. I just wish the faces were a little bit more consistent at times and stuff like that, you know, like, but when they do sell it, they sell it very, very well. Mostafa, this is some interesting stuff. Watch a lot of your Dead Space though. Okay. I think I've heard of this guy before. Victor Rufino. All right, let's take a look. Okay. Living room sets the scene, and is that Psylocke? Like, is that on character? Yes. Yes, it is. This will make every fanboy squeal, right? Sexy pose, beer cans for Logan. You know, this is cool. Smash! In comes Deadpool. There's the reaction. Her reaction is a bounce back, even though she's trained as a ninja, so I'm not sure about that. But Wolverine's all of a sudden lunging forward. Maybe he smelled him. I don't know. He whacks her. I would have liked to see some impact lines or something like that here, just to give that that hit on the face and sell it more. We don't have the lettering in here, but like there's room for these impact lines, right? So overall, it sells well, but it doesn't. Without that, not as much. It's a lot of blank space, and you have to kind of look at what happened, right? Great angling, nice close up. Look at that face. That face makes me happy. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so let's come up here. We've got Wolverine and Deadpool banging it out. Actually, I think I might back out just a little bit, make sure I'm not missing anything. P1 on this page. Kind of an awkward thing, but they're stabbing each other and fights are awkward, so I get it. Nice and smooth here into here. This panel. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. And yeah, I like it. And I like this too, because he's pondering as he's fighting, and the look on Logan's face. And then, watch out, there's our impact. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a reason why I recognize this name. Mr. Rufino has won many entries over the last few years and stuff. And how many marks did I put on this? How many critiques did I give? Impact lines. That's pretty much my feedback. Really, this is a very, very strong entry and very well crafted. Oswaldo. Okay, let's see what we got here, sir. P1, we set the scene. Playing pool with a lot of set dressing. Great Great anatomy. Slightly stiff, but geez, really on point. Like, I remember there was a time in the 80s where this was Wolverine's look, like the tank top and the cowboy hat and stuff like that. And look at the poster in the back for the X-Men, the booze, the plants. Like, there's so much going on here. And then we've still got that little hint of something coming. Whack! And it's the panel split that shows the whack. Would I have done anything more here? This foot, I might have angled it this way, and then had the body coming back and then the head and stuff. Yeah, I might have pushed it because we're pushing this a lot, right? Yeah, even that pushing it just a little bit more might have sold this even more. Like, it's a good setup, but like I think a little bit more pushy. Nice work on this, nice setup. They're facing each other. And then we've got what appears to be an unfinished page. Obviously, like, there's a lot of setup here. Anything that's bugging me so far. I don't know what this is. Here's his bulge. This is what's bugging me there. Some rough anatomy. I like the setup. Although it's a little straight on, right? Like, what if we were to bring the camera down and look up here or something like that? Or vice versa. I don't know. Just something to think about, right? Oh, we got some rendering in here. I like how you render. Yeah, I like how you render. Oswaldo. Cool rendering. Reminds me of the 80s and 90s. Good expression. I dig that. Not sure how much I dig this, but we'll see if it gets filled with dialogue and stuff like that. Always good to leave some room. Pretty strong entry. Obviously not finished, but lots of potential there. And like I said, P1 and 2 on page 1. I think you could push that even further. You're already pushing it, but I think you got a little shy on it. I think you can push it even more. Okay. All right. Next up is Dorothy. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Sets the scene. They're sitting around. Nice. It doesn't have to show the entire kitchen. It just shows enough, right? He smashes in. Not sure I'm convinced on this shocked look. That's not how I look when I'm shocked. I'm like, eyebrows come up usually, right? It's like, oh, that's my shock look. You're welcome to reference that. Yeah, so the eyebrows aren't up on her. I don't know if I like the heavy dialogue bubble outlines here. I do enjoy a good action line and stuff like that, but it's kind of confusing me of what's actually happening here. And is his sword? Oh, it's the baton that's bouncing. Yeah, so the impact or the impact and speed lines off the baton make it look a little bit too solid here, if that makes sense. Like, this almost looks like a solid piece. I actually thought it was a sword breaking or something like that. Let's see. The square off. Oh, I see what you did here. You split it. You split that panel. Does it add to it? The only way that adds is if the pacing needs to be there. Care to dance? Well, let's see how well you dance, snicked, after I cut off your damn leg, or cut your goddamn legs off. So what this does, this break, gives us a break between this piece of dialogue and this piece of dialogue. And that's not needed. Care to dance? Let's see how well you dance. Like having a pause in that, it would be like, care to dance? Let's see how well you dance. This takes away from it. If this wasn't here, it would be a normal dialogue flow. There's no reason to break that dialogue. No reason to break that panel other than fun artistic stuff, but it doesn't add to it at all for a storytelling bit. Okay, we've got some fun here. Almost the same kind of pose though. I like this. Like, there's a lot of good drawing here. Although, did I miss something? Oh yeah, there we are. Fingers gone. Poor weight in his fingers. Always losing that shit. But he kept his middle, so he's good to go. Nice. But again, like if we're looking at all of these scenes, it's all like chest level camera shot looking down at the waist, right? Like here we got some variety. I like that. Oh, I like this. Now, as soon as I call you out on your camera angles and stuff, you start mixing it up. I like this. Thank you. Give me a close up. Give me even a more brutal close up or something like that, right? Like, because that's a well drawn face. And then okay, this makes her look stumpy as heck. Okay. So, and this is not giving the impact that I would have liked of like, he's getting tanked by Psylocke, right? Overall, a lot of good rendering here, but some of the facial expressions are not selling it. I feel like the face has been reused a few times, maybe, which isn't the worst thing. I've done that before. Kind of, it's a little bit too standard in the camera angles and stuff like that for some of it. Either way, it's not as convincing. This takes me out of it. This took me out of it. Anything else really took me out? This takes me out of it. Yeah. So maybe reconsider those ones right there. Okay. Eric, we've got 3 pages, one of them a double page spread. Okay. Let's take a look what we've got here. Sitting around, kind of looks like, okay, this is where it gets confusing because they're sitting around and then I get a smash. And I get that the panel break is Wolverine's cigar smoke, but it also gives this weird Christmas tree, like they're sitting there looking at because the inks and the snow and the bits and whatever, it becomes a little unclear. Like they're sitting, they're not talking, they're just sitting, they're not doing anything, they're just sitting, staring at something. And apparently what they're staring at is Deadpool smashing through something, but it doesn't show the relationship between their library and what he's smashing through or anything, right? Well drawn, but not well conceptualized, I think. Like very well drawn. I really enjoy it, but not the best concept and stuff, right? P2 is over. Is this P2 or P3 at this point? I don't know. So there he's broken in the window, gives her a smack. He's there. They face off. Good enough face off. Let's back out a little bit so I can see this double page spread. The fight scene. Oh, I like this. See, this is where you don't have to draw the background. You could just draw action lines and speed lines and all this kind of stuff, right? And in this sense, in this case, with this style, it works very, very well. Could the action have been more? Maybe, but honestly, it's good. Yeah. I get a little bit of variation of angles. I get some variation of moves and stuff like that. I get some variation of effects. Although I don't, usually with the stars and stuff like that, I would have thought like a hit to the head or something like that. If this is a hit to the nuts, if it's a hit to the belly, like this, Wolverine's falling like he got hit here. So his body's angled this way. If it was a hit to the nuts, he should have been crumpled over this way, right? And that would explain the stars. So the body language and the impact of it has to match the storytelling, has to match everything. Wolverine's down, Deadpool's about to brag, and then he gets the psychic blade, which landed in the wrong spot. I could have sworn it should go through the head. You viewers are welcome to correct me, but I thought it should be going through the head for maximum impact. Well drawn piece, but I think conceptually there's a few things that need working on. P1-ish, and yeah, couple things. So I would work on this, just slightly rework this one, and rework this. Okay. Next one is Hector. Let's see what we've got here. Hector is brought us some colors and some lettering. Cool. Cool. Sets the scene. Deadpool crashes in. I kind of like the reflections on the shattered glass. I think it's cute. He whacks her. Good enough whack. Pretty standard stance, though. Everybody's standing. Everybody's standing straight on. They all stand straight on. And I get it, because like that's the easiest to draw type of thing. I don't know if I get that stylistic choice, but we'll see. They start battling it out. He grabs a crotch. I like good little humor. I like this red. Yay! My red is disappearing in there. Yay! I think that's pretty cool. And if this would have been like yellow, blue, red, then that could have been an interesting color theme going along the background there. Something to think about, right? Okay, then here's the face-off. They're all kind of bloodied. And then Psylocke comes through the head. Yeah, it all works. Set dressing is a little weak, a little elementary, but also I think should have been some changes and changing up in how straight on every one of these shots are. Okay. Wolsiek. Every time I see an entry from this artist, I'm always butchering the name. My apologies. Okay, so we've got the setting the scene and the impact. Can I just say this impact is pretty lame? Oh, why did I pick a pencil? It's pretty lame. There we go. It does not give a huge impact, even though it's got a crash. The amount of quiet space in the scene really deadens it. So instead, I would have maybe cropped this and had more crash, more impact, and tighten it up. So I think the scene was slightly reused maybe and stuff like that, but even just here's the scene, here's the action. I think that would have been a smarter bet here. We got a whack. Way too many. I want a little bit of impact lines here, but these are like little microwave sound ripples or something. I don't know if it's selling it. I like the camera view. Again, don't know if it's totally selling it. And the face off here is just okay. I think we could have brought Wolverine into the foreground more, and yeah, that would have made for a more dynamic scene. Other than mid and semi background, it's a room, so you can't push people too far. Woo! Right away, exciting. Like, boom! Right away, this caught my eye. Right, cool storytelling, cool choices. This, not so much. This is pretty bland. But this punches hard. See what we come next. And then we get into this again. I think there was a little bit of confusion how she kills Deadpool, but that's fine. He's not dead. He'll come back, unfortunately. Again, we've got a lot of blank space, and I don't mind blank space sometimes, but I don't think it's really telling any part of the story. Like, this is telling a story, but this section here is not. This section can be as in the quiet after the death, right? But the focus should really be here, right? So some of these are a manner of Wolsiek, I would say cropping. Draw out your scenes a little bit, thumb them, and then crop for intent. Okay, that would be my advice on that. Okay, Wan Toro. Let's check this out. We got some inks. We've got some interesting style, nice setting the scene. I don't like that necessarily. It's taking away from the rendering that's everywhere else and stuff like that, right? Overall, looks okay. Where's the floor here? I feel, well, maybe I wouldn't see it. I don't know. I feel like I would see the floor somewhere around here, but yeah, maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. Okay. P1 is strong, especially if we had some like dialogue or something going on here. This is okay, but I think from looking at your figure work, I feel like Deadpool could have been drawn a lot stronger here. And even Psylocke, I'm not in love with the reaction and the figure. Wolverine is strong here, though. That's a good picture of him stuff. These two, I'd maybe consider redoing. This is fine. Shows the impact. That works. Nice little face-off. I like this. Yeah, those work. Cool poses. Nice little battle scenes. Nice silhouettes. Nice. Now, see, that's how you draw an expression. This is cool. I'm digging I don't know if I would have covered Wolverine's face here. I would have maybe tried to find a different way to draw that without covering his face. I like how you did the claws not in the silhouette, right? Showing claws. I like how he's exposed here. He's trying to lecture Wolverine. I have a problem with this death scene. And I've already gone over it. The Psy blade, the psychic blade, or what a psychic knife, I believe should go through the head. And again, maybe I'm going to get called out on this later, but that's how I would do it. Okay, this one's Caleb Convert, and we've got 3 pages here. 3 pages. Wow. Okay. Sets the scene. Cool camera angle. They look kind of small compared to this chair, but, I'll give it some grace here. Bust through the window. That's how you bust through a window. And I like how Wolverine keeps drinking. He's a Canadian after my own heart. They're all jumping. Figures seem kind of small. I don't know. Anyways, like he seems like he put a lot of distance in that jump. Like he's 15 feet away from them and stuff like that. But this is gorgeous. How that was drawn. This works really well. I think this whole thing works and stuff. I just feel like there's a little bit too much distance there, but it's all good. Again, something seems off. And maybe it's also that Wolverine should be stocky. I don't like a slim Logan. Looks weird. Wade can be slim. Logan should be beefier. Just a little bit wider. Yeah, just a little bit, okay? Nothing huge, but like I would definitely thicken him up just a little bit. Not necessarily like a bodybuilder, although it's good to add muscles and stuff like that, but more so like just big and burly and barreled chest and all that kind of stuff on a 5'3" frame, right? Okay. Looking good. Punches to the head. We got a facial expression that I like. This is a little standard and a little lame. This is a little bit better. This is cool. There's some impact. I see you pushing like the foreshortening and stuff like that. Even just this pose here is pretty badass. I don't think it works as well with him here, but that's okay. I like this scene. Look at the camera angle. Wolverine set down. How did Wolverine get thrown like that? Like that must have been some fucking massive throw for him to put that into the wall. Maybe I'm just not agreeing with it or seeing it. I don't know. A little bit of exposition by Wade, and he gets his head chopped off by the side blade. Interesting choice. This last panel is just okay. So if I look at it all, we've got some pretty strong points, right? And ones that I think are just okay. And that's okay, like not every panel is going to be a home run because that takes away from the panels that are home runs and stuff. Overall, pretty good storytelling. I know what's going on here and stuff. Okay, next one is Billy Coup. Another 3 pages. Okay, with lettering and some solid inking. Okay, we set the scene. Oh, look at how this set is dressed. You know what I mean? Like, I'll zoom in even further for you people. Like, that is a living room. Even though at this resolution I can only see so much, it is still full. That's a full fucking scene. Like, wow. Wow. Like, just, I don't know if I agree with it because, like, there shouldn't be a TV tray here or something like that in the Xavier mansion, but, like, damn, like, that's really well done. And then what happens? Deadpool crashes in. A little bit of shocked expression. Looks a little too heavily referenced. Like, it's like, oh, you know. But I'm not gonna let that take away from my enthusiasm so far. Okay. And again, we've got a face that looks a little too heavily referenced. This is like, it's like she is sleeping or something like that. Whereas in like, you know, have some impact of like I've been punched in the head too many times. And it does not look like blissful. Bliss getting punched or whacked or hit with a stick in the side of the head is not blissful. Not that I've ever experienced. So even if, have I been knocked out? No, but I've had my nose broke and a few other things. So yeah, it doesn't look like this. I do appreciate how she's lying there, but this gets all awkward, like human centipede looking and stuff like that. I don't know if I would have chosen that. Nice drawn face, kind of cool lettering. I don't like some of the overlap on edges and stuff like that, but like the rendering is off the hook. And why is Wolverine still sitting here? I don't know. Okay, so oh my goodness, who is this again? Billy. Like, man, you should be in architecture. Your interior work of buildings is off the hook, man. Like, damn, I can you come and design my next house? You know, this is cool. Let's see the fight scene. Fight scene's cool. We got chopping of fingers. Yep, chopping of fingers, good. Deadpool went from like, yeah, okay. I think I'd like to see more design work on it, on his suit or something. Doesn't he have some patterning or whatever? Right now it looks like just a kind of a freaky dude in a skin tight suit or something like that. I feel like it's missing some of its Deadpool patterns. He's flying in, gonna give a big kick to the chops, I think, here. Some of the action's a little bit unclear, but no, I'm digging a lot of this. There we go. Big kick to the chops. Now, see, that's how you get hit in the face. That's what I look like when I get hit in the face. I look similar to this, maybe because I'm Canadian and shit, but like, I don't know if Americans or Brits look different when they get hit in the face, but this is definitely how a Canadian gets hit in the face. Great camera view. Thank you. What? Okay. And the little hint that something's going to happen. I don't like this. This is a pet peeve of mine so far. I love this, by the way. And this, why do I find her ridiculously sexy doing this right now? Like, yeah. I gotta stop looking at this. What do we got next? William Watson, 1 page. William Watson. I feel like it's the off-brand Braveheart. Okay. Okay, and we got colors, which I, as a colorist, I'm really happy with. I like the attitude and interchange and exchange between these two. She's like, "Put your shit away, Logan," and he's like, "Ma, ma, ma, ma." Deadpool comes in as the cop. Maybe he's the recycling cop. Oh, the B. Arthur Epstein Island cookout. Thank you for humor. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I like how he's wearing a cop. Like, she's trying to enforce something. We clean or live outside, and he comes in as the enforcer. And we've got like, there's a lot of cool things happening here. See-through glass panels and stuff like that. I don't know if I love this head cock. Like, Wolverine seems kind of, I would maybe thicken up his traps just a little bit, make him a little bit stockier. Yeah, I like a thicker Wolverine. Right? Okay, so then he knocks her out. And I might have had in the background, kind of like behind it all. Bam, something like that. You know, just set behind, like, so cold cocks her, right? And they're like, care to dance? This is the part that pisses me off, I guess. Everything else is fine. This face does not do justice to Wolverine. Even looking at this face, like he's tough, he's gruff, he's this. This face needs to be reworked. I actually really like this page, William. I think there's a lot of potential here. Like how you color, a couple minor tweaks, like in the anatomy here, maybe or something like that. But I want to read this, right? But this face would stop me in my tracks. Need to rework that face. Okay. And now we have Yantono Leon. Did I not do this one already? No, I did not. Oh, cool. I know. Wait, this was the first one I put in the file. Okay, so we set the scene. It's pencils with notes for inks, right? And it looks pretty good. I don't know if I love the anatomy going on in her head here, but that's okay. He breaks through. We've got kind of an anime look to some of these characters, and we're having troubles with like sizing, proportional sizing of the head and stuff like that. This works though. This impact works. We come down here. It's the face off, and we're okay. It's a tough angle to pull off with this downward look and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think you could have thickened up the chest just a little bit here, and then the waist comes down, and then comes down more. You tapered a little too quick on the body here, but other than that, it works pretty well. We've got some nice set dressing here. This fight is a little blank, and like we're cropping at places that I don't know if we should. It's hard to make out details of what's going on in some places. I do like the stab down into the leg. I just think we've got like a lot of white space going on in a lot of these panels here, and a lot of the actions cut too tight. Okay. So yeah, I could have cropped this and made that a closer shot. Okay, so Wolverine gets his throat cut. Splatters, right? We come over here, and now see, there's some of these that are really rendered and taking their time with and stuff, right? And I get it. I think this isn't maybe 100% done. I don't always love when a gun's facing straight at us. It takes away from the impact a lot. So especially here at this mid-waist level and stuff like that, don't know if I love it. The way that this head is formed, I think it could work a little bit, and you could even put in, a bit of an uglier nose here or something like that. Yeah. Anyways, a lot of dead space here. I hope there's some dialogue to come. I'm looking at this last panel as the big impact. I think this one works okay. I like the close-up of the smirk, right? But here's our impact. So could I have cropped this even more and put Wolverine's hair? Yeah, I'm just looking at like dead space and where to tighten up, right? So there's, I think, a few things here. Keep working on the anatomy and especially the proportions, head to body proportions and stuff. And then watch your dead space. There's a lot of good things going on here, a lot of good storytelling, but also a lot of space that should be a choice that you want it to. Because that dead space kind of echoes. It takes away from action. When you've got action and space all around it, that space becomes very silent and very damning if you're trying to show action. If you're trying to show like silence, space is great, right? If you're trying to show a little voice in silence, voice, space, it has an impact, right? But if you're like, bah, 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 and there's space all around it, that's what is going to be reading, is like, bah, 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 and it echoes in that space. It just kind of sits there. It's very small compared to the space. Make it a choice. All of these, make them choices. Okay, guys. I hope you really enjoyed that. About an hour long, and that's usually what these end up being. We will announce the winner pretty darn soon. Myself, and there's about 4 other judges that are going to weigh in on this. I'm just the one that had surgery, so I get to sit at home and do this video for you guys, which I love, actually. This is like fun for me, right? Don't know if it's always fun for you. But I hope you can roll with some of my dad jokes and not take it all too seriously. I love and respect you that you put in all this effort and stuff. And so don't ever feel like I'm dismissing any of it. Like, I see the effort you put in. You did fantastic, okay? Take this as a friendly nudge on a couple little things saying, hey, good job. Now work on this and nudge yourself, because that's what we all got to do, right? Guys, I don't know when the next contest is going to be. We have them at least every summer, but sometimes lately we've been running them 2 or 3 times a year. So keep your eyes out in the How to Draw Comics Facebook group and on my page and stuff like that. You'll see announcements of contests coming, and be sure to jump in on the next one. The cash payouts are not huge, but look at the awesome feedback you get. That's it for today, guys. It's been awesome, and any questions or feedback, just throw a comment below. And if you like this, give a little thumbs up. Catch you next time, guys.